Hello students, today we'll be doing a new story called The Midnight Visitor, written by Robert J. Arthur Jr. Let me tell you quickly about the writer. Robert J. Arthur Jr. was born on November 10, 1909 and was a writer of speculative fiction known for his work with the Mysterious Traveler radio series and for writing The Three Investigators, a series of young adult novels. He has been honored with many prestigious awards, and he also wrote scripts for television also. So let me quickly give you the introduction of the story. This story is all about a secret agent, Ausable, who has spent an evening with a writer named Fowler, who had expected that as he would be meeting a secret agent, he would be looking into a lot of adventure. But instead, he rather gets bored when he meets Ausable, as the things that happened were exactly the opposite of what he had imagined. How Ausable gets rid of his unexpected guest proves his expertise as a secret agent. Now we'll be doing paragraph-wise explanation. Ausable did not fit any description of a secret agent Fowler had ever read. Following him down the musty corridor of the gloomy French hotel where Ausable had a room, Fowler felt let down. It was a small room on the 6th and the top floor, and scarcely a setting for a romantic adventure. Ausable was, for one thing, fat, very fat, and then there was his accent. Though he spoke French and German passably, he had never altogether lost the American accent he had brought to Paris from Boston 20 years ago. "You are disappointed," Ausable said wheezily over his shoulder. "You were told that I was a secret agent, a spy dealing in espionage and danger. You wished to meet me because you were a writer, young and romantic. You envisioned mysterious figures in the night, the crack of pistols, drugs, and the wine. Instead, you have spent a dull evening in French music hall with a sloppy fat man who, instead of having messages slipped into his hand by dark-eyed beauties, gets only a prosaic telephone call making an appointment in his room. You have been bored." The fat man chuckled to himself as he unlocked the door of his room and stood aside to let his frustrated guest enter. "You are disillusioned," Ausable told him. "But take cheer, my young friend. Presently you will see a paper, a quite important paper for which several men and women have risked their lives. Come to me. Some day soon, that paper may well affect the course of history. In that thought is drama, is there not?" Underline the word musty, which means having a stale, moldy, or damp smell. Corridor, a long passage in a building from which doors lead into rooms. Gloomy, dark, or poorly lit, especially so as to appear depressing or frightening. Scarcely, only, just, almost not actually. Accent, you all know, a distinct way of pronouncing a language, especially one associated with a particular country, area, or social class. Passably means just well enough, tolerably well. Espionage means spying. Envision means imagine as a future possibility or to visualize. Sloppy means carelessly dressed. Prosaic means ordinary. Chuckled means laughed quietly without opening his mouth. Disillusion means disappointed in someone or something that one discovers to be less good than one had believed. So in this paragraph, Fowler felt that Ausable did not look like a secret agent at all. He was following Ausable to his room through a smelly and a bit scary corridor. His room was on the top floor, which was the 6th floor of the hotel. Ausable was a very fat man and his accent was American, although he had been living in Paris for the last 20 years and could speak a bit of French and German. Then Ausable feels Fowler that although he was told that he was going to meet a secret agent, a spy agent who had been dealing with danger, crime scenes and drugs, but Fowler was disappointed. He had to spend the evening in a music hall with an old, poorly dressed, extremely fat man who used traditional methods for making the information travel rather than beauties delivering to him. He then exclaimed that Fowler was bored with him. As soon as he opened the door of his room, Oswald gave way to Fowler, and he entered the room, closed the door, and turned on the light. Then Oswald told Fowler that he had been thinking all wrong and the best part was yet to come, as they would soon be coming across a paper for which a lot of men and women had risked their lives, and that report was very important. Now, moving further, as he spoke, Oswald closed the door behind him. Then he switched on the light, and as the light came on, Fowler had his first authentic thrill of the day. For halfway across the room, a small automatic pistol in his hand, stood a man. Oswald blinked a few times. "Max," he wheezed, "you gave me quite a start. I thought you were in Berlin. What are you doing here in my room?" Max was slender, a little less than tall, with features that suggested slightly the crafty, pointed countenance of a fox. There was about him, aside from the gun, nothing especially menacing. "The report," he murmured. "The report that is being brought to you tonight concerning some new missiles. I thought I would take it from you. It will be safer in my hands than in yours." Oswald moved to an armchair and sat down heavily. "I'm going to raise the devil with the management this time, and you can bet on it," he said grimly. "This is the second time in a month that somebody has got into my room through that nuisance of a balcony." Fowler's eyes went to the single window of the room. It was an ordinary window against which now the night was pressing blackly. "Balcony?" Max said, with a rising inflection. "No, a passkey. I did not know about the balcony. It might have saved me some trouble had I known. So please underline the word authentic, that means of undisputed origin, and not a copy, which means in short you can say genuine. Halfway means at or to a point between two others. Wheezed means spoke breathing noisily and heavily. Slender, gracefully thin. Countenance, a person's face or facial expression. Menacing means suggesting the presence of danger or threatening. Murmured means say something in a low or indistinct voice. Grimly means in a very serious, gloomy or depressing manner. Nuisance means a person or thing causing inconvenience or annoyance. Balcony, a platform enclosed by a wall outside of a building with access from an upper floor with window or door. Inflection means a change in the form of a word to express a grammatical function or attribute such as tense, mood, person, number, case, and gender. Passkey means a master key. So in this paragraph, after saying this, Oswald closed the door behind him and turned on the light. And as soon as the light was turned on, Fowler experienced his first thrill of visiting a secret agent as he saw a man with an automatic pistol standing across the room. Oswald recognized the man as Max and asked him what was he doing in his room when he was supposed to be in Berlin. Max was thin, a bit short, and his face looked a bit like that of a fox. He seemed harmless except the gun he was holding. Max said that he wanted the report about the missiles, for which Oswald had been waiting, as he thought that he would be able to keep it more safely. This is said to create humor, as he just wanted the reports for his own benefit. Oswald sat down on a chair and started speaking that he would definitely have a fight with the management of the hotel, as this was the second time that someone had climbed up from the balcony of the room. Then Fowler looked towards the window and saw that it was an ordinary window and that it was pretty much dark outside. Max said that he came through the master key and did not know about the balcony. Had he known about it, his work would have been, become much easier. Then, third paragraph says, "It's not my balcony," Oswald said with extreme irritation. "It belongs to the next apartment." He glanced explanatorily at Fowler. "You see," he said, "this room used to be a part of a large unit, and the next room, through that door there, used to be the living room. It had the balcony, which extends under my window now. You can get onto it from the empty room 2 doors down, and somebody did last month. The management promised to block it off, but they haven't." Max glanced at Fowler, who was standing stiffly not far from Oswald, and waved the gun with a commanding gesture. "Please sit down," he said. "We have a wait of half an hour, I think." 31 minutes, Oswald said moodily. "The appointment was for 12:30. I wish I knew how you learned about the report, Max." The little spy smiled evilly. "And we wish we knew how your people got the report, but no harm has been done. I will get it back tonight. What is that? Who is at the door?" Fowler jumped at the sudden knocking at the door. Oswald just smiled. "That will be the police," he said. "I thought that such an important paper as the one we are waiting for should have little extra protection. I told them to check on me to make sure everything was all right." So please underline the word glanced, which means to take a brief or hurried look. Explanatorily means serving to explain. Stiffly means in a manner that is not relaxed or friendly. Waved means move to and fro with a swaying motion while remaining fixed to one point. Commanding means having a position of authority. Gesture means a movement of part of the body, especially a hand or the head, to express an idea or meaning. Evilly means morally wrong or bad. So in this paragraph, Oswald continued that it was not his balcony through which people had tried coming in, but was of the next apartment. He then started explaining things to Fowler, that his room used to be a part of a large unit, and the room next to his room used to be a living room. Then he said that it had the balcony that came till the window of his room. Then he said that to climb up to his room, one needed to go to the empty room, which was 2 rooms away from his room, and climb up the balcony. Then he said that somebody did climb up the balcony last month as well. He also told Fowler that the management had told him that they would surely get it blocked, but they still hadn't done so. Max looked at Fowler, who was standing near Oswald. Max asked Fowler to sit down, as there was still half an hour for the report to reach Oswald. Oswald joked that it was not 30 minutes but 31 minutes that were left for the report to reach them. The report was supposed to come in around 12:30 at night. Oswald said that he wished he had known how Max had come to know about the report coming in. Max smiled wickedly and said that he also wished to know how Oswald and his team had got the report. He added that nothing had happened to the report, because he would take it from Oswald straight to his team. Then suddenly a knock is heard on the door, and Max panics. Fowler is also scared by the knock on the door. Oswald replied to Max's question about who was on the door that it must be the police, because he had asked them to check on him. After some time, as he thought that the report he was about to receive was important and definitely required extra attention and protection, so he had asked the police to check on him after every some time to ensure that everything was all right. So next, moving on to the next paragraph, Max bit his lip nervously. The knocking was repeated. "What will you do now, Max?" Oswald asked. "If I do not answer the door, they will enter anyway. The door is unlocked, and they will not hesitate to shoot." Max's face was black with anger as he backed swiftly towards the window. He swung a leg over the sill. "Send them away," he warned. "I will wait on the balcony. Send them away, or I'll shoot and take my chances." The knocking at the door became louder, and a voice was raised. "Mr. Oswald, Mr. Oswald," keeping his body twisted so that his gun still covered the fat man and his guest, the man at the window grasped the frame with his free hand to support himself. Then he swung his other leg up, and over the windowsill the doorknob turned. Swiftly, Max pushed with his left hand to free himself from the sill and dropped to the balcony. And then, as he dropped, he screamed once, shrilly. The door opened and a waiter stood there with a tray, a bottle, and 2 glasses. "Here's the drink you ordered for when you returned," he said, and set the tray on the table, deftly uncorked the bottle, and left the room. White-faced, Fowler stared after him. "But," he stammered, "the police—" "There were no police," Oswald sighed. "Only Henry, whom I was expecting. But won't that man out on the balcony?" Fowler began. "No," said Oswald. "He won't return. You see, my young friend, there is no balcony." So underline the word hesitate, which means to be reluctant or wait to act because of fear. Swiftly means moving or capable of moving with great speed or velocity. In short, you can say rapid. Sill means it's the horizontal piece or member beneath a window, door, or other opening. Shrilly means piercingly in a high pitch. Deftly means dexterous, nimble, or skillful, or you can say clever in short. Uncorked means to draw the cork from. Stammered means to speak with involuntarily, breaks and pauses, or just to stop in while speaking. Sighed means to let out one's breath audibly as from sorrow, weariness, or relief. So in this paragraph, Max became nervous about the situation as the knocking continued, and Oswald asked him what would he do next. Oswald added that the door was unlocked, and if he did not open the door, the police would enter anyway, and would definitely shoot if they saw him with a gun. Max was angered by the situation and ran quickly. The knocking on the door grew louder, and someone from outside called for Mr. Oswald twice. Max was sitting on the windowsill and was facing inside so that his gun could still be pointed towards Mr. Oswald and Fowler. Now, Max then held the windowsill and sat at the sill with both legs outside. The doorknob turned, and Max thought that the police would be coming in, so he jumped from the sill to fall on the balcony, and when he fell, a loud and shrill scream was heard. When the door opened, a waiter stood at the door with a tray, a bottle of wine, and 2 glasses. He came in and kept everything on the table and said it was the bottle that Oswald had ordered for. He opened the cork of the bottle skillfully and left. And then Fowler did not understand what had happened and stammered that where was the police, to which Oswald replied that there was no police, and that he knew that it was Henry the waiter and he was expecting him only. Then again Oswald asked about the man outside the window, to which Oswald replied that he would never come back as there was no balcony, and that Max had fallen on the ground from the top floor of the building. So with this, I end this chapter. Hope you all have understood it. Thank you.